The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 293. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is the director and founder of Macchiato Design and Marketing, and she's also a design consultant for Elusyf Global. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Joanna. Joanna, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Hi, Sheena. So just a little bit of background about myself. I think you already did a great introduction. I'm running two businesses. So Macchiato is the first, Elusyf Global is the second. So I think I'm a typical Singaporean. I'm a blend of Chinese and Indian.
Thanks for sharing that. And Joanna, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I don't actually have a quote by someone, but I believe that if you know what you want, you should go all out and get it, because even if that appears to make you a total bitch, you should still do it. So you should not really care about what other people think about you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, and I believe that too. Like, if you want it, you'll do whatever it takes to get to that, even if people might think you're crazy or some people might put you down. I mean, if you want it bad enough, you're willing to have the confidence to do it regardless of what happens. So, great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
My own definition of self-confidence, I guess it's a feeling of trust in your own ability and your own judgment. I mean, if you had to drop everything now and start over your life, can you do it? Because if the answer is yes, I believe that you have self-confidence. A lot of people discover themselves through going through an enduring period of their time. And in my opinion, that's the best way that you can do it. Because if you're always doing what you're comfortable in, you will never be able to discover what you're really good at. So you need to always put yourself out there and do things that you're uncomfortable with, because that's only when you'll discover how strong you really are. So that's my definition of self-confidence, is trying new things and exploring yourself, and through that process you understand yourself.
Thanks for sharing that, and that's a great definition. I always believe the same thing, you have to believe in yourself and your own abilities, because if not, no one else will, and everything has to start with you. So I love that definition that you mentioned. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I think being in Asia, being in Singapore, I think a lot of young females also go through the same issues as me. I grew up struggling with issues with my body. So media always portray Asian beauty as being fair, being petite, being lean, but I was none of those. I was more built than my peers because I started gymming since a pretty young age, and I used to run. So I couldn't really fit into the trends of clothes whenever fashion showed what we're supposed to wear. So I don't really have fair skin either, because I'm half Indian, half Chinese. So I used to tan a lot because I love the tan on Beyonce. So I used to gym. I used to go tanning very often. And I used to get a lot of comments that I was too dark, or why don't you try whitening cream? So it got to a point where I caved in a little bit to what people around me were telling me. So I started gymming even more. I would not eat as much. I would calorie count. I would skip all social events that revolved around food. So healthy eating and gymming became an obsession for me. There came to a point in time when I used to go grocery shopping for my own food, and all I saw was nutritional labels. Then I started to develop an eating disorder. So it got really bad, where I didn't eat for 10 days, because everything that I saw was just nutritional value. I didn't see any joy in food anymore. So I realized that the obsession over my diet was a deep-rooted cause of wanting to be in control of my own life, because I grew up being a perfectionist. So since I was 15 years old, I knew I wanted to be an architect. So as soon as I graduated from high school, I went into architecture. And being in Singapore as a designer, you can't really make a lot. There's not a lot of opportunities that's open for designers. So as soon as I graduated with my diploma, I realized that I can't pursue it, and everything that I wanted to do with what I studied, being a designer, and the life that I wanted to live, it was gone. So I realized all this at 19 years old, and I got a little bit jaded about how it was going to be like. Yeah, so I was that during that point in time, I was diagnosed with an eating disorder and depression. It was very foreign because no one talks about these kind of things. I was admitted to hospital, and the day I left, I told myself that I was going to change my life. It might sound very cliche, but yeah, the day I left the psychiatric ward when I was 19 years old, I told myself I would change. So I wouldn't say that anyone with depression ever recovers from it, but I can safely say that even when I have a little bit of that feeling now, I'm able to pick myself up faster because it's all in the head. It's all in your mind. As long as you tell yourself that you can do it, you can actually do it. Being an entrepreneur was the best bet because of my character, and every day I step into my daily life being uncertain about every single thing, because when you run your own business compared to working a job, everything is uncertain. You'll never know anything for sure. And that's something that I like, because being an entrepreneur really helped to discover my self-confidence. Yeah, so that was my life before discovering all these things about myself.
Thanks for sharing that. And, like you said, it's something that most people don't talk about because they might feel ashamed or they think they did something wrong. And sometimes it might have to take something as bad as what happened to you to realize, things have to change. Like you said, the day you left the psychiatric ward was the day you said, I have to change, right? And it's up to you to make that decision and take action. And, because of that, you've been able to run your own business. You've been able to, live life on your own. I mean, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be facing something similar. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
Well, what really helped me was the support that I got from a group of people. So this was a totally separate group of people that I mixed with after I left the psychiatric ward. So the group of friends that I had, I think that the group of people that you mix with really shapes your character and changes who you are. So you should find the right support. People who you feel are negative or not value adding your life. It might sound really bad, but you need to cut them off. So always having positive words of affirmation, it's what helps. So if there's someone out there that's facing something similar, okay, there's a lot of support groups. You can either find them online or just, I'm pretty sure in your community there's something out there. Find the right group of people and you'll be able to get through it. But the main thing is you need to know that you want to change, because no matter what good things you have around you, if you feel that you are not going to accept it, you're not going to change, because it takes two hands to clap.
Thanks for sharing those tips, and I totally agree. Who you surround yourself with is really important, because you're going to have days where you feel like you can't do anything, or, you just kind of like give up sometimes, and you need people in your life that can push you and keep telling you that you are worth it, you can keep doing it, just keep going, and something great will happen. So I really love the tips that you mentioned. And Joanne, if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, I'm more active on Facebook. So I'll just, on Facebook, my name is Joanna Soh-Pereira. I'm not sure whether you know how to spell Pereira, but it's Pereira. Compared to Instagram, I'm not really on Instagram much. So you can send me a Facebook message. I'll reply within 24 hours. Because I believe that whatever I go through, I'm a Catholic, so I believe that whatever I go through is to help other people get through the same issues. So feel free to reach out. I will reply you.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Joanna, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Joanna's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Joanna for taking the time to share her story with us and tips. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on.
Not a problem. It was an honor to have you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free audiobook by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.